He's definitely not a sophisticated criminal because under any circumstances, in anything, you don't write a check for anything like that, because you're leaving a trail and it could always be explained one way or the other, So that was, if I ever had to speak to Jesse, I said, Jesse, make sure you do cash next time. Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, I give God all the praise, honor, and glory, and thanksgiving for that. Today I have a special sit down. A couple of weeks ago, I was on the Tucker Carlson show. We flew down to Florida and sat with Tucker for about an hour. By the way, what a shock that he was, out of Fox so suddenly like that. I guess we'll get the real story pretty soon. But anyhow, while I was there, the two Osundairo brothers were there, Ola and Abel. Now, you probably don't know who they are, just by mentioning their name, but let me refresh your memory. Jussie Smollett, the actor, was with the Empire series, good actor, by the way, back in Chicago, that whole scandal, the story that he was attacked by two people, if you remember, big trial in Chicago, a lot of press, I'm sure you know who they are. Well, we met down there, and two very nice young men. I really enjoyed meeting with them. My wife and I were there. Two very, very nice young men, so I asked them if they wanted to have a sit down. And so today we're going to do that, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I know the story's been out there, but many of my viewers haven't heard it, and hopefully we'll get into some things that they haven't spoken about before. But here they are, the Osundairo brothers. Enjoy it. Guys, you have one of the craziest stories I've ever heard, and I've heard many of them, really. But this is a whole crazy deal with something that you guys walked into. I think you never dreamed it was going to turn out the way it did. And I know you've told your story in a lot of different places right now, but my viewers haven't heard it. So I'm going to ask you to go back a little bit and kind of, just go over how this whole thing started. Obviously, Jussie Smollett was a friend, and you had a relationship with him. And then at some point in time, he asked you to do him a favor. And you guys take it from there because it's crazy.
So I initially met Jussie. I was his friend and a platonic friend. A friend introduced me to him and invited me to his house. The friend knew I was an actor, so he said, "Hey, do you want to go to Jussie's house? That's where I'm going." So then I said, "Yeah, I'll go, of course." Knowing who Jussie is, he's an actor and I'm an actor. We're both professional actors before we met Jussie. So I went to Jussie's house, and then we started forming our friendship, and that's how it went. I met him in 2016, and the fake attack happened in 2019.
And Jesse's a nice guy? I mean, would you say before all of this happened?
Jesse is a very genuine person. He was a genuine person with me. He put his emotions on his shoulders. He let you know how he feels, but he was authentic. He was nice. I didn't see no signs of, no bad signs from him, no red flags from him.
Yeah, and people that know him have kind of said the same thing about him, that he was a courteous kind of guy, just pretty respectful to people, and he was a pretty good actor, he was good at his craft. And then, something happened, and he came to you for a certain reason. What was that?
So he came to us because he wanted us to do a fake attack on him. And he had reached out to me while I was at the gym. He said, "Hey, let's meet on the low. I have something I want to tell you." So I agreed. I said, "I'll go." And so I went to CineSpace. CineSpace is a place where they shoot the Empire show and most of the Chicago shows. So when I went there, I met him at his car, and then he started driving me towards my house. And on the drive home, that's where he explained what he wanted me to do. He flat out just came out and said, I want you to attack me. So I'm confused. He was smoking weed too. So I'm thinking like maybe it's the weed that is talking or something. I don't know what's going on. So then he noticed how I was looking. He noticed that my confusion and he said, yeah, I want you to fake attack me. So looking at him like, what do you mean by this? So before this, he did mention that he had a hate mail sent to him, a hate letter sent to him. And that hate letter had him hanging, supposedly him hanging from a tree saying, die black faggot, and it said MAGA on it somewhere. So he was explaining that the studio wasn't taking it seriously.
Right, because he reported that to the Empire producers or the studio.
Fox, yep, and to Empire Studio, yeah.
And I think that was genuine. He actually did receive that mail. That wasn't a hoax. Yeah.
He did, yeah. And it's never been proven that he sent it to himself. So, and he never told me or us that he sent it to himself. So it may be a genuine, real letter that was sent to him. So he was explaining to me that the studio wasn't taking it seriously. And that's when he had turned to me and said, I want you to attack me. And he told me the plan as we were driving home. And then as we were driving home, he said he wanted another person. Would my brother do it? I said, hell yeah, my brother would do it. Why not?
Let me ask you this. Did he ever tell you what he thought that would accomplish? Since Fox or the studio had, not taken this seriously, did he ever tell you what he wanted to accomplish by having you attack him?
So he didn't really say what he wanted to accomplish by him getting fake attacked, but he did say that he wanted them to take it more seriously. He wanted the studios to be more serious about him in general. He never mentioned that he wanted a pay raise. So we never told anybody that he wanted a pay raise, and that's why he did it. And I think he was getting paid enough. They said he was getting about $125,000 an episode. So he wasn't hurting for money, I don't think, anyway. So on our ride home, I saw my brother. When we got home, we saw my brother. He happened to be in the alley. And then I told my brother to hop in the car. And then when he hopped in the car, Jussie now asked him.
Yeah, Jussie now asked me if he could trust me. And I told him, of course, he can trust me. And he asked again, no, can I trust you? And I said, yes, of course, you can trust me. And this is where he goes on to tell me about this elaborate plan for us to dress up as MAGA hat wearing Trump supporters and fake attack him in the middle of the night and yell all these racial and homophobic slurs to him.
So do you think he wanted to basically corroborate what was put in the hate mail against him by showing the studio, hey, this is real? This wasn't a joke and you guys didn't take it seriously and look what happened to me, something like that? Because I'm trying to get into his head and say, what did you accomplish by doing this?
No one has ever brought up that point, but yes, I believe that's what he was trying to corroborate, make it make sense. Yes.
Yeah, and just, again, if it wasn't for money, if it wasn't for any other reason, some people had said he wanted to become more relevant, but he's, a star in a show, getting paid very well, and, his acting ability was out there for everybody to see. It seems like he was doing a good job. So it just didn't make sense, other than the fact that, hey, the studio, this is for real. This is really happening and actually happened to me. And you guys should have taken it more seriously. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So Jussie was or is an activist also.
Right.
And yeah, he did not need money. I don't think it was a money issue at all. But I think he wanted maybe to advance or get bigger in the activism world because he was big on not liking Trump. As they would call President Trump 45, they did not, or he did not like 45. He did not like President Trump. So during that time, Trump was president and elections were coming up. The country was racially charged. So I think he wanted to use that opportunity to further his activism, possibly. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay.
So you both, you're in the car with him. You agree to go forward. What happens next?
Yeah, so we pretty much go through the whole gist of everything, but the next day he picks us up to take us to exactly where he wanted the whole fake attack to happen. He drives us down to where he lives because it's supposed to happen right where he lives. We drive around there about 3 times. He shows us, tells us exactly what he wants us to do, shows us the camera that's supposed to catch the whole entire act because he was supposed to get that footage and put it on social media. It was never supposed to be the police involved. The police was never supposed to be called or anything like that.
When you say camera, was this a surveillance camera that was someplace? Because
Yeah, this is not one of the city's cameras. It was a camera. It was a private camera on a building.
oh, now he didn't put that camera there, did he? It was just there. Oh, okay. I was going to say that would have really been a stretch.
Right. Right. Nah. Oh, yeah. It was a private camera. So after we finished going through everything, he started driving us home and gave us a couple bucks to buy everything he wanted us to buy, which was like the rope,
The hats, red hats too.
He wanted us to buy MAGA hats, but we're in Chicago. There's no MAGA hats in Chicago.
Super blue
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, you can't find no MAGA hats over here. So we was just able to find one red hat that we used.
Is that the one you're wearing?
No. This is our own hat. This is
Yeah.
our own
Yeah, we
MAGA
have
hat.
we have our own red hats that we make with the outline of Africa, the continent.
Okay, I
Great
noticed.
again.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so you get that far, and then?
Yeah, so once he drops us off at home, I believe the attack is supposed to take place the next night. So
The 29th. Well, no, you're right. The 28th.
yeah, the next night. So the next day comes around, we wake up, go through our day, we go do laundry, and while we're doing laundry, we buy the robe, the hats, other stuff that we're gonna need because it was gonna be the coldest night of the whole year. It was a polar vortex that night,
Yeah, I
actually.
remember. Okay.
Yeah, so we would buy an extra clothes to layer up, hoodies,
Hand warmers.
everything, the whole nine. So throughout the day, we were also in character as well because we were playing white Southern
Racist. Trump
so,
supporters.
Yeah,
So we're supposed to be white, and I had given him a name. His name was going to be Bubba,
yeah.
but I don't think he gave me a
Yeah, I
name.
didn't give him a name. So we were practicing, staying in character all day, getting ready for our road at night.
Now, let me ask you, were you guys Trump supporters at that point?
Well, so we're supporters of the president. We support whoever's the president because we're American citizens first. And we do, so me personally, I do like how Trump came from not being a career politician, and he came with his business acumen and his abilities. I like that about him. So I did support him. Yes.
Well, that's a good analysis, and I like hearing that. You're an American first, and we try to support our president. As a matter of fact, I'm a little guilty of not doing that because I'm not supportive of our current president, but that's another story. All right, guys, continue. I don't want to get into the politics on my end, but go ahead.
He gives us a call because he had flew to New York. He gives him a call and lets him know that he's not going to be back on time and that we got to switch the time to where the actual attack is, the fake attack is going to happen. So after some time, it switches to 2 a.m. in the morning. And mind you, my brother and I had to travel to Nigeria the next day.
Right.
We had planned a trip to Nigeria a couple months before to go what's it called, audition for this show over there called Big Brother. It's the Nigerian version of Big Brother. So it gets pushed to 2 a.m. Once he lets us know, and he lets us know this around, I think it's like 1 a.m. 1 a.m. or something. He tells us that it's going to be at 2. So we hurry up and rush out the house to get to the spot. And once we get to the spot, we're lost because we didn't know the exact address of the place, so we couldn't even tell the cab exactly where to take us. So we just get dropped off somewhere close by and start looking for where exactly the attack was going to happen. So we finally find the exact spot about 20 minutes, but my brother and I were about, I'll say 20 minutes early. So we're just out there I'm talking about freezing.
It's freezing.
Didn't he tell you not to bring your cell phones? He didn't want you to have a cell phone on you? For what reason? What was that?
The reason he told us was so they didn't fall out.
So we don't lose it.
While the fake attack was happening. But I now feel like the reason and believe that the real reason was so in case the police
During their investigations and they pinged that our phones were in the area.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, so
He thought this out a little bit, but now you're out there 1:30 in the morning in the dark in a place you're not even sure if you're in the right place, freezing your butt off and waiting for him to show up.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So before that, let me go back and say he did pay us, or he gave us a check for $3,500, and that check he wrote 5-week fitness plan. So he did have a music video that he did want to shoot in February, and he said he did want us to train him. So we did write out a fitness plan for him, and we were going to create a workout program for him also. So in that,
That's what you guys do. You're also personal trainers. You work out, because I saw you were in pretty good shape when I met you.
yeah, so we were professional bodybuilders, and at that time we did help people out create plans.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, you insulted me a little bit. You didn't realize it, but let me tell you how. When we met, my wife was there, and I was there, and I've been training for about a year now. And you looked at my wife and said, "You must be training. You're in good shape." I thought you were talking to me. You were talking to. We were laughing. We were laughing about that afterwards. I said, "He gave you a compliment, and he insulted me." But I don't mean it. No. We were laughing about it afterwards. It was a nice compliment you gave her, but she is in great shape. It's okay.
Please don't send no one to our house.
No, you guys are safe. You're in my crew now. Told you that when we took the photo. So all cool.
Okay,
Awesome.
perfect. So a misconception with that $3,500 check was that people say that Jussie, it's dumb for him to write a check for a hate crime. But he didn't write hate crime hoax on the memo line. He wrote the fitness program. So what he was really doing was covering his tracks. So if the police do find a check, it says a 5-week fitness program. It's not for no hate crime. You can't say it's for a hate crime. And we did help him out. So why did we do it for $3,500? People think that it's so little money. That's a star. He makes a lot of money. This is a $50,000 job. The thing was, we are professional actors. It wasn't about the money for us. It was about the connection. We do a favor for him. He can help us out in the acting world. That's what we were looking at. So it had nothing to do with the money.
Well, let me tell you, no, and I get that. I totally get that. But let me tell you something. He's definitely not a sophisticated criminal, because under any circumstances, in anything, you don't write a check for anything like that, because you're leaving a trail, and it could always be explained one way or the other, So that was, if I ever had to speak to Jussie, I said, "Jussie, make sure you do cash next time."
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just do cash. I don't understand his whole reasoning behind it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was to try to frame us at the end of the day if we ever did come out and say that this was, I don't know.
You know, probably he just didn't want to go to the ATM and pull it out. I mean, you know, sometimes if you're not really into this, you know, you don't really think it out all the way. But you know, that was a mistake without a doubt. But anyway, because it leaves a trail. And you guys, it's your 2 words against his, if anything ever happened.
Right.
I mean, that's,
And the thing is, the police didn't even know about the check at all. They didn't even know he gave us money. We're the ones that told the police that there was a check and he gave us money. So
Got it. So he finally shows up, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So he finally shows up. This is like 4 minutes after the exact times, because the exact time we start walking towards the stairs where the whole attack was supposed to happen. We get there exactly at 2 a.m., which is when the time we're supposed to meet. He's nowhere to be found. So my brother and I go sit on a bench and we're talking to each other, telling each other we're probably gonna leave if he doesn't show up in the next couple minutes, because the cold was unbearable.
Yeah.
So 4 minutes after 2, my brother sees him from the corner of his eye, and we
Pursue him.
pursue him and start the whole
Fake attack. The whole shenanigans, yelling out the racial slurs. And what he wanted us to hit key words, key phrases, because he wanted to touch on certain aspects, racial, the gay aspect, and then the political, saying this is MAGA country. So my brother and I, in character, being the white racist Trump supporters.
And you had masks on, right?
Yeah, we had masks on.
completely covered
Yeah,
up.
completely covered up. So good thing you brought that up. That was another misconception. People think that why would he hire 2 black people to play white people? Well, we were covered up, so you would never see who it actually was. So
And the thing is, we were in character so good that even on the cab ride over there, when the police were investigating and questioning the cab drivers told the police that we were 2 white people, that we were 2 white passengers, because my brother and I were in character talking to each other in our white Southern accent. So the cab driver even believed that we were white guys.
right.
yeah. So then I approached him and said, "Hey," and he turned around. I said, "Hey, aren't you that Empire faggot nigger?" And he said, "What did you say to me?" And I said, "Yeah, you heard me. This is MAGA country." So then that's when, by that time, I was close enough. I threw a blow at him, and then we started tussling. I made it look like he fought back because he wanted it to make sure that it looked like he fought back. So after doing that, I threw him to the ground, and he didn't have any bruise. And to make it look more real, I put my knuckle out and started giving him a noogie, so on his cheek. So then after that, I started fake kicking him, and then I saw headlights, and so I ran away when I saw the headlights because we didn't want anyone to see it, anybody to maybe call the police. So I started running away.
What about the rope around his neck?
Yeah. Before the car with the headlights came, I had put the rope around his face. I didn't put it around his neck. I just placed it on his face. So in the footage where the police catches him with the rope tangled all around his body, he did that himself. I just placed the rope on his face and poured the bleach on his sweater. And once I saw the headlights, we took off.
Yeah, we took off. And another thing that I have to note is that how did we know it was 2 a.m. was because my brother had a wristwatch. We didn't have our phones with us, so we were using a wristwatch to keep track of the time.